from Airman Brandy Mackey. And Mackey is a proud United States Navy veteran who served from 1994 to 1997. Motivated by a desire for independence, her military service instilled in her the values of discipline, attention to detail, respect for the chain of command, teamwork, and the ability to perform under pressure, qualities that continue to shape her leadership today. Following her military service, Mackey became the co-owner of Mackey's Munchies, a New Orleans style restaurant that received multiple awards and was recognized as one of the top dining experiences in the Jacksonville metropolitan area before closing on September 3rd, 2024. Mackey and her husband, also a Navy veteran, met during their service and have been married for 27 years. Together, they are the proud parents of 3 sons and are deeply committed to serving their community through youth mentorship and signature events, including Black History Month programs, the annual Juneteenth celebration, and Thanksgiving dinner giveaways for families in need. We thank you for your service to our nation and for your continued commitment to our community. And they are also my patients, so I'm excited to have them here on another note. All right, so please lead us in the pledge, and then you can have some comments.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. All right. Well, thank you for the opportunity. I love having a mic. Y'all watch my lives. Mrs. Mackey's always, hey guys. So thank you for the opportunity. I've had the opportunity to feed a lot of y'all in here. So just want to say, sorry that we're not open, but still good food is coming and kindness is timeless. So in these times, choose kindness over everything. All right. God bless.
All right, you can be seated. To call to order the Board of County Commissioners meeting for January 27th, 2026. All my fellow commissioners are here, and we will move into pet adoptions.
Okay, our first cat today is Tina. Domestic short hair, 4 years old, and weighs 8.2 pounds. Tina may have been a little shy when she first arrived, but she's blossoming into a true social butterfly. Now she loves chatting up anyone who stops by during daily cleaning and soaking up all the attention she can get. Tina is curious, playful, and ready to share her purrs and personality with a forever home that appreciates her newfound outgoing side. Come meet Tina. You might just leave with a new best friend. Next, we have Sam, a neutered male, mixed breed, 63 pounds. I don't know what that. Oh, and a year old, and it's heartworm negative. Sam isn't just playful, he's a 4-legged entertainer. From his star-worthy bow-wow breakouts around town to his endless cuddles and clever tricks, this high-energy, treat-obsessed pup knows how to steal hearts. Are you ready to be his co-star? Next, we have Henry, a neuter male, domestic short hair, 4 years old, and weighs 12 pounds. Henry is a big softie and a total lover. A little shy at first, he warms up to play, cuddles, and a bit of mischief. He loves redecorating his kennel with his stuffies and toys when you're not looking. A handful of treats and some patience will go a long way with this sweet, playful guy. Come meet Henry today. He's ready to steal your heart. And lastly, we have Lulu, a spayed female, mixed breed, 4 years old, and weighs 67 pounds, and is heartworm negative. Lulu is 4 years old and pure sweetness, with a face full of wrinkles that always look like she's asking the cutest questions. She was found as a stray with a leash labeled emotional support animal. Lulu is gentle, loving, and ready to find the forever home she truly deserves. Ready to meet your new best friend? Our adoptable animals are waiting to add some extra love and fun to your life, from wagging tails to purring kitties. We've got the perfect companion just for you. Want to see who's available? Head over to our website and meet our adorable crew looking for their forever homes. If you have questions, you can drop us a line at clayadoptions@claycountygov.com and let's chat. Don't wait. Your new best friend is just a click away. And pictured there is mistletoes, currently in a foster home, and are always in need of foster homes where they can grow, receive socialization, and get the care they need until they are ready for adoption. Could you provide a loving temporary home for one of our foster animals? If so, please contact us at clayfosters@claycountygov.com. And lastly, if you're interested in helping our furry friends but you can't bring one home, please take a look at our Amazon wish list. We are always in need of items for the shelter animals. Just go to Amazon.com. And that completes our pet adoptions.
Thank you. And would my fellow commissioners meet me up front? All right, so January 27th, 2026 is recognized as National Holocaust Remembrance Day in honor of the millions of people persecuted and killed in the Holocaust. We are so pleased to have Rabbi Maya Glasser here with us today to help us with the recognition. Could you join us up front? After Commissioner Compare reads the proclamation, we'll ask you for some remarks.
The proclamation reads, whereas the Holocaust was the state-sponsored systemic persecution and murder of an estimated 17 million people, including 6 million Jews, by Nazi Germany and its collaborators under the leadership of Adolf Hitler between 1933 and 1945, and whereas the Nazi regime persecuted groups it deemed inferior and those who oppose its ideology, resulting in the targeting of millions across racial, political, social, and identity-based lines. And whereas on January 27, 1945, Soviet soldiers opened the gates to the Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp and liberated more than 6,000 surviving prisoners, mostly Jews who had been subjected to starvation, torture, abuse, forced labor, and other horrors at the hands of the Nazi regime. And whereas designated by the United Nations in 2005 and recognized by proclamation of the Governor of Florida, Holocaust Remembrance Day is observed each January 27 to honor the 6 million Jewish victims and millions of others murdered by Nazis, marking the anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz-Birkenau and Soviet troops. And whereas this tragedy calls on all of us to reflect on the dangers of hatred, anti-Semitism, and the indifference while honoring the courage of survivors, rescuers, and liberators, and reaffirming our commitment to human dignity, rights, and the fight against bigotry and hate today, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners, Clay County, Florida, does hereby proclaim January 27, 2026 as Holocaust Remembrance Day in Clay County, and calls upon all citizens to observe this solemn occasion with appropriate ceremonies, prayers, and educational programs, pledging to stand against anti-Semitism and all forms of oppression, ensuring that we never forget. Duly adopted by the Board of County Commissioners, Clay County, Florida, this 27th day of January, 2026. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. It passes unanimously.
Judaism tells us that memory is a sacred value. It's so important for us to learn and relearn our history, especially the painful parts, because only by learning about those who are different from us can we change this world in which the Holocaust could happen and millions of people could die just for being different from those in power. So I am really thankful to Clay County and to all of you for participating in this sacred act of memory, because we can't forget the worst of humanity even as we strive to be the best of humanity. So I encourage all of us today in honor of Holocaust Remembrance Day to learn about someone different from you. Go out of your way to learn something new so that we can keep connecting and finding what unites us rather than what divides us. Thank you.
Madam Chair, if I may, I was the one who requested this for Holocaust Remembrance Day, as the governor has deemed this day as well. I have a very dear friend who was actually born in a concentration camp at the end of World War II. And so just the way that he grew up is very different than the way that I grew up. And so I wanted to do this. Certainly, I'm of the belief that the Jews are God's chosen people, and that we need to honor His word. And so, thank you for being here with us today. Anti-Semitism has no place. Our sheriff said last year when we had some anti-Semitism has no place in Clay County. And thankfully, we haven't had to deal with that, but we don't want to. And so, thank you for being here and for us to remember. I agree with you. Memory, so we don't repeat history. So thank you.
All right, so we have a special proclamation today recognizing two Clay County State Championship swimmers, Fleming Island's William Shoesmith and Clay High's Noah Stotler. We welcome these young student athletes, their families, and school leadership, including Superintendent Broski, to join us up front for the recognition. After we read the proclamation, we welcome some brief remarks from the students and Superintendent Broski and whoever else.
Athletic Director Christina Thompson, come on down. You come on down with us. And the families, come on down. So while they make their way down here, I do have to share a very quick story. So when I saw the proclamation, I saw a name that looked extremely familiar. And when I was talking to Noah, I said, Noah, by chance, was your mom an elementary school teacher? He goes, yes, she was. And I said, I knew it, because back in the day, me and 3 of my buddies were raising Cain at Patterson Elementary, and Miss Stotler was our teacher. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Thank you for never giving up on me, because I obviously figured it out. Yeah. And in 4th grade, I did not have it all figured out, but she was one that helped me figure it out. So there you go. There you go. Awesome. Nevertheless, real quick before the proclamation, winning a state championship is such a community event. There's a lot of people in the community that pour into student athletes, especially in the sport of swimming. Both of these swimmers compete in the Eagle Harbor neighborhood and also in the Rolling Hills neighborhood in the CDD pools that they so graciously partner with the school system, with the county to give them a place to swim. So we're extremely grateful for that. But most of all, these guys, with their ability, winning a state title, they make Clay the #1 county of the 67 when they stand on that podium, and your entire community is extremely proud of you. And this is the proclamation. Whereas Fleming Island's William Shoesmith and Clay High School's Noah Stotler captured state championship titles at the FHSAA Swimming and Diving Class 3A Championships on November 15th, 2025 at the Florida Aquatics Swimming and Training Facility in Ocala, Florida, bringing distinction to their schools and community through their outstanding performances. And whereas Fleming Island High School swimmer William Shoesmith, led by head coach Matt Fetzner, set a new school record in the 500-meter freestyle, winning the championship gold medal with a time of 4:25.41 and finishing nearly 2 seconds ahead of the runner-up. Whereas Clay High School's Noah Stotler, under the guidance of coaches Casey Simmons and Dennis Scrow, surged past the competition in the latter half of the race to claim the first place in the 200-yard freestyle with a time of 1:36.74, becoming Clay's first individuals boys champion since 2015. And I believe that champion was a guy by the name of Caleb Dressel, if everybody knows who that is, earning All-American honors. And whereas the remarkable accomplishments of these student athletes inspire admiration throughout our community, and these young men are to be commended for their commitment, perseverance, perseverance and excellence with great anticipation for the successes of their future. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of Clay County Commissioners, Clay County, Florida, does hereby congratulate William Shoesmith of Fleming Island High School and Noah Stotler of Clay High School on their state championship victories at the FHSAA State Swimming and Diving Championships, Class 3A, duly adopted by the Board of County Commissioners, Clay County, Florida, this 27th day of January 2026. Do I have a motion? And a second. All in favor? Aye. Man, congratulations, you're officially in the record.
I want to thank the commissioners, for everything they've done for us, and to my family at FIHS, the coaches and all of the faculty and staff that have been there at FIHS have helped me a lot, and I want to say thank you to them, and of course my family as well.
Nothing? All right. Superintendent Broski.
Noah and William, thank you so much for making us proud, Clay County Schools and the entire community making us proud. I don't think people realize the amount of work and effort that it takes to be a champion. It's practice all the day, every day, endless practice, endless hard work and commitment. Interestingly enough, those are the types of things that everybody's looking for in young men today, and you guys exude that in a lot, okay? And families, thank you for the support that you have of these students, because I'm sure you couldn't do it without them, right? Probably started very young, probably a lot of trips in the car, a lot of travels and all of this. So to see where they are now, it's got to be a great moment for families and for all that you guys do. And to the commissioners, thank you so much for recognizing Clay County students. You guys know that any place that we're recognizing kids, you're going to usually find me to be here. And I just want to thank you for the partnership and doing this for them. Interestingly enough, I think they were competing in nationals when the school board was recognizing students that had achieved this high level of excellence. So thank you so much.
How do I follow that up, Mr. Broski? No, I just, I want to second that. Very proud of you guys, and it extends to the families as well. I mean, you guys put a lot of work and effort into these boys as well, and, it obviously shows for them, and they've got a whole lot of promise ahead of them, and we're all excited to see what the future holds for both of you. And I want to second that. Thank you to the commissioners for spotlighting our kids. It's always special to go above and beyond for our students, and thanks to them, they've put Clay County on the map, and we will continue to do so when we have awesome student-athlete products like these young men.
One for each of you. We'll take a picture real quick.
You want to do a group photo, so we want everybody to kind of come in and be facing this way. So you have to scooch down. They love to congregate in that corner. It's like the corner heaven.
Yes.
I did shower today. We're both going to take pictures.
We'd like a copy of that record check. Put it in public records request, sir. We'll do it. See ya.
All right, we'll move on to constitutional officers. Anyone from the sheriff's office like to speak? Anything? No? All right, very good. And Tara, anything from our clerk of the courts?
Just real quick, an update on the external audit. It is running right on time. Our goal this year was to have it completed in the government-wide financial statements issued by March 31st. And thanks to the good partnership with all the constitutionals, we are, barring no unforeseen circumstances, we are on track to do that. So stay tuned. We'll be bringing it to the board in the next month or two.
Awesome, thank you. Anyone else? I don't think so. All right.
By the way, I was supposed to say, that's why David's not here tonight. He's working on the audit right now, so hi, David. He's watching from the office.
Good job, David. All right, and we'll move on to approval of minutes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Board of County Commissioner meeting minutes from January 13th, 2026.
I'll second.
Okay. Go ahead, sorry. All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so we'll move on to public comments. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. At this time, the board will not engage in debate or answer questions. You may email askclay@claycountygov.com and staff will address your questions, or you may email your district commissioner. Public comment cards are conveniently placed at the meeting room entrance and should be submitted to the clerk on the far left of the dais. You are to limit your comments to 3 minutes. Before addressing the board, please state your name and address. Now, I would like to open the first public comment period at today's meeting. And the first card I have is from Nanette Outhire. Is that how you say it? Outhier. Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Hi. My name is Nanette Outhier. I'm retired United States Navy, and I live at 34210 Biltmore Way, Orange Park, Florida, 32065. My subject happens to be the library that's going into Oakleaf Center. My major concern is the development of the property. Let me start. $8 million taxpayers' money, $7.5 million state money. Libraries don't make money. They cause problems. Drugs, prostitution, and excuse me, this is my first time here, so,
All right, you're doing fine.
okay? Homelessness, all right? The major thing that I'm concerned about is that we have 4 schools right down the street. Traffic is just crazy, 2 lanes, no passing lanes. Several children, I have 300 children that cross that street every day of school. It's a hangout place. Took us 15 years to get rid of the drugs and prostitution that was living in the neighborhood. All right? And there's only 3 ways in and out of our residential area. Our streets are already cracking. My foundation is cracking. So are the other neighbors from the UPS and the trash trucks. This is just a wake-up call and also an insight of what's going on here. 15 years ago, it was okay to have this happen, but they didn't develop it. I bought property, I didn't know anything about it. I got lots of brand new neighbors, they still don't know anything about it. We haven't even seen designs of this house, this library. On top of that, you're putting in 2 office buildings. One more statement, just for the record. In California, there was an office building and the drug addicts got in there and they produced fentanyl. What better place for the drug people to open up their business? Down the street, right next to the Goddard Center, is a food mark. They sell only minimal food, but mostly drug paraphernalia. That's my comment, and I just want to wake you guys up. I'm worried about the children. We already lost several of our children on that street. I don't have any children. I'm 82 years old, but I'm concerned. And this is a major mess. It's in your hands. I know we can't do anything. It's already zoned. They're having, the 29th, they'll have a decorating. Let's come to see how we're going to decorate the library. Set.
Thank you, Ms. Outhier.
Thank you.
Second card is from, second card is from Teresa Sanday.
Hi, I'm Teresa Sanday. My address is on file, and I'm sure facially recognized as a protesting terrorist. But here we go, right now. My name is Silas. I'm 75, and I work the same scorched, stubborn acreage in New Mexico that my father did before me. It is a lonely existence filled mostly by the drone of the wind and the fiery rhetoric of the talk radio in my truck. For years, I listened to the warnings about the threat at the border. My fence, a simple four-stranded barbed wire barrier, was more than property to me. It was my duty. It was my line between us and them. Every Tuesday morning, I'd find it a clean snip in the wire near the dry creek bed at the edge of the land. The first time I was livid. I sat on my porch with my rifle across my knees until midnight, watching the shadows from invaders. I saw nothing but the moon. The second Tuesday, I grumbled my way out to the site with my heavy toolbox. I spent an hour under a punishing sun, sweating and straining to staple the wire back into place. I cursed their lack of respect for my land. Then came the third Tuesday. I was out the ridge checking on a sick heifer when I pulled out my binoculars and scanned the mesquite trees beyond the break in my fence and stopped. Huddled in the meager shade was a man, young, his shoulders slumped with a bone-deep fatigue, and a small girl no older than 6. She wasn't crying or playing. She was just incredibly still. The man was holding on an empty plastic bottle, storing it like it looked absolute defeat. The voices of my radio called them an invasion, but through my lens, I just saw a father and a daughter, and they were dying of thirst. Something in me shifted, a quiet, heavy break in my own resolve. I drove back to the house, grabbed a gallon of fresh water from the fridge, and went back to the ridge. I didn't fix the wire. I just tucked the water into the shade on the other side of the fence as if it accidentally left it behind. The next morning, the jug was gone. In its place, 2 ends of the wire had been carefully, almost reverently tied together with a strip of blue fabric from a shirt. It became silent conversation every few days. I'd find the wire cut. I'd leave something, a bag of oranges from my trees, 2 sandwiches wrapped in a pail, or a pair of my grandson's old boots. I stopped fixing the fence immediately. I'd wait a day or two, and when I returned, the food would be gone and the wire would be tied back together. Once I found a small pile of smooth river stones on the fence post, and another time a single desert that Lily was tied within. One night, a massive monsoon hit. The wind was a roar, and the dry washes became lethal riverbeds. I sat in my kitchen, listened to the rain hammer the roof, and for the first time in my life, I wasn't worried about my crops. I was worried about a father and a child. The next morning, the ground was a sea of red mud. I drove to the ridge, my chest tight. The fence had been flattened by the storm. In the mud, I saw 2 sets of footprints leading away toward the north next to the fallen post. Someone had traced a large, simple heart in the wet earth with a stick. I never found the wire cut again. 3 months later, an envelope with no return address arrived at my local post office. Inside was a small, blurry photo of the same little girl, clean and smiling, holding a box of crayons in a classroom. On the back, in a neat practicing 3 words, "Gracias por todo, thank you for everything." The world is full of people screaming about higher walls and drawing harder lines, but a wall cannot stop desperation, and a line is a map an invisible, hungry soul.
Thank
We
you,
are
Ms.
told
Sanday.
we need to pick a side. We have learned that kindness does not have a border. We've also learned that there is no line on the map. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're moving on to consent agenda. Actually, was there anybody else that needed to speak? Sorry about that. Closing public comment. Moving on to consent agenda. Do I have anything to be pulled, or can I have a motion?
Move approval.
I'll second the motion.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, passes 5-0. All right, and we'll move on to old business, adoption of the strategic plan update with Troy Nagel.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. You should have received a copy of the PowerPoint slides, and you should have received 2 11 by 17 sets. One is the changes to the strategic plan highlighted in yellow, and the other one is the complete strategic plan items and the KPIs. Really just going to focus on going through the changes. Laura, Heather, and I worked to make the changes requested at the workshop, so really just going to go through those changes that we made, and I guess if there's any other changes, or ask for adoption today. So what we've done is just highlighted the ones that changed between the workshop and today is all that was highlighted in these slides. So in this case, one of the things that we talked about was adding the total number of inpatients served in county-owned facilities. I think that was one of the items that you had asked for, Commissioner Compare. So we added that as an item to the strategic plan. Community health and safety, we also put KPIs in to focus on the numbers of garbage versus the percentage. I think that was one of the questions that came up from several commissioners, was more letting us know each month how many, as part of the KPIs, how many misses there were, since the percentage is always 99 point something. That was, I think, one of the focuses. And then the bold goal for community health and safety, this was kind of the one that we talked about with Heather Huffman from the health department, was to reduce premature deaths in the county by 5%. While that's not something the county can directly control, the services we're trying to, with opioids and things, is to reduce that premature death. And please, if there's any questions, feel free to stop me. Good governance, we added maintain a 90% employment rate for the first year. We had a lot of conversations about the retention rate for the county, and instead of it being focused on overall retention rate, we made it focus more on the first year of employment. And then you'll see some KPIs that we put in place that we discussed at the board meeting of tracking. You know, we'll give you numbers for 6 months. Did we say 6 months? It's in the back, and I'll get to it in a second, but while we're here.
Yeah, it's, we did several. There's one for 6 months, there's one for, less than 6 months, less than 1 year, and less than 5 years, and those are in the KPI section.
Infrastructure, we updated the goal for JTA to increase ridership by 50% over the 5 years. And we updated improve the pipes and ditches to improve by 20,000 feet versus 10,000 feet, because we're already close to achieving those goals, the original goals. Quality and balance of life, we changed that to increase the overall number of county hosted programs by 30% over 5 years, because we were already close to the 20% goal. And then KPIs, which would be the second sheet that you received. This is where we added the number of bulk pickups, average time to complete bulk pickups. I think those are two things that the board was really interested in. We added dollars brought in from partnerships and sponsorships. I think that was one of yours, Commissioner Scrumlow, that you were focused on, and the number of grants awarded, which I think we talked about, Commissioner Reninger. And then this is where the personnel, turnover in 6 months, turnover in a year, and turnover in 5 years. And then I know we had a lot of discussion about by department. We can break that data down further by department if needed, because that's how we're starting it, but we're just not going to put every single department into the KPI list to start with, because it would add probably a whole nother page if we did it by department. And then Parks and Rec, I think you asked for the number of park leases and the number of association participants, which are both data points that we will start tracking. And then public records, we modify them to specifically say the medical records, which are the ones that come from ambulance billing. That's the measures that we changed. I know I went through it pretty quick, but it was really the information that came from the workshop. Anything that we missed adding that you want us to add, or other information?
Madam Chair. And then just confirming, I think we talked about it at the end of the workshop, we're not going to republish the entire book, correct? You're just going to update it on the website?
Right.
Okay.
You want to address that?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we're just gonna update it on the website, and Troy will speak to our next steps in the platform that we've established. But what we're going to do is, instead of reprinting all those books, we already have many in my office if you ever need them. So instead of gathering that cost and printing new ones, we're gonna get stickers to a QR code that will go to the website and have those changes listed there. So we'll just put those on the front of those existing books that we have, and then our community can be updated that way.
And then the next steps, we are working on the website. The plan is to use a dynamic platform that we already have licensing for, so it won't be an additional cost. It's just some development time on our side, so that we can put the data out there, and it'll be, I won't say live, but it'll be more real time, where people can I want to see what last month was and kind of look at it the way you see other county websites. And then, as we discussed, we'll bring the strategic plan back every quarter to update the board. That was the plan that we had. So I leave it to you if there's any other questions, concerns, or changes.
Okay.
So we would just need approval to move forward with this being, a consensus or adoption from the board that these are the changes you want us to make.
So we're voting or just consensus?
I'd go ahead and vote.
Yeah. All right, I'll take a motion.
I'll move. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Move to adopt.
I'll second.
Were you gonna say the same thing?
Yes.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect.
Thank you.
All right, and we have approval of the TPO project list with Richard.
Good afternoon, Richard Smith, County Engineer. What you have is the document that we put in annually for the approval of our list of priority projects to the North Florida Transportation Planning Organization. The changes from the one that was presented on December 9th of 2025 is that the Cheswick Oaks project was moved up into the top 6. It's now priority number 5, and the Nightbox project was traded places down to 9th. So this is used for the grants department to put grants together, as well as for the TPO to present to the state for funding. Any questions?
Can I ask a question? So, Richard, we moved 218 down to number 6,
Yep.
County Road 218. It is still our only road of critical deficiency, and we keep moving it down the priority list.
The
And
top,
so, I don't know, I mean, we're not gonna do the whole thing, obviously, from 301 to Masters, but there's a section in there that is,
the way it's explained by the chairman, Jeff Sheffield, is the four counties they take the top 25 projects in those 4 counties. 6 from Clay, 6 from St. John's, 6 from Nassau, and 7 from Duval County. Those top 6, or those top 25, are then put in, those are the ones that are truly eligible for state funding. So whether you're number 1 in Clay or number 6 in Clay, you're gonna be in the top 25. There's no, I've been told there's not really a differential. In other words, if the DOT sees an issue, County Road 218, you notice where we put the limits to it. They only fund projects that touch a state facility. So 218, I'm glad it's on one of our priorities. So it's gonna probably be, until we get closer to 301, we're probably looking in the mirror at who's gonna fund it. So that's just the hard facts.
yeah, I get that. It's just those are the residents who live here, and
Yep.
we have Cathedral Oak Parkway on there of 4-laning from State Road 23 to US 17, and no one lives there right now. So, I mean, or there are a few from the 17 part to 315, but the rest of it is new construction. And so that it's just frustrating. I hear it from because my constituents got the short end of the stick on the bonded transportation money. And we all know why. Part of it was the contract with the contractor, but that's what I hear complaints about, so.
But being in the top 6 definitely puts it in that top 25, and that's where we really do. That's where our work on Tuesdays, the first Wednesday of each month, and you and Commissioner Burke on the first Thursday of each month, that's where we have to push that. To say whether it's our, right now, the DOT, if they had all the money in the world, they'd pick number 2 to go first. They really are determined to get 6 lanes on 17 in the Green Cove. That's their priority. They don't live here, though. You're right, we live here. So that's why I think we just need to keep it in the top right for now.
Well, in the Cathedral Parkway, I will say Jim Knight is the one that wants that because of the bottleneck right there.
Mhm.
So but they did tell us that no matter where you're at in the top 6, you're fine. So hopefully
Yeah, but Jim
mean,
Knight, I mean,
from the
he's,
looks of
Jim
it.
Knight has controlled a whole lot on here, and he doesn't live in our county. I mean, he doesn't, you know.
Yeah.
And I get complaints from the constituents, and I get that you do too. But
Right. But I think I think you're still in good shape though, because I mean, they've told us it doesn't matter the order, so.
Yep.
As long as you're in the top 6. So it used to be 5 and now it's the top 6, correct?
Correct. It
Yeah.
was 5 because it was the top 20. And they widened that to the top 25 for the whole organization.
well, supposedly they say that they can pull anything off the list, but
They do, and they did. But it helps to, you know how they did the Keystone intersection improvement. We moved that up 1 year. If you'll notice go down your list to number 18. That is where we got funding for the bridge replacement. We kept it on there because we're also seeking grants for the shoulder improvements to bring that up to like 315C is in the McRae area. So because it's on the list, you're exactly right. The top 6 is the one that gets the big money. That's why 220 sat there for way before I was hired until 2024. So.
Go ahead.
Yes, through the chair. Richard, Chestwood Oaks 223, I recall a wide variety of estimates as to what that is going to cost. What do we think that's going to cost?
The last estimate was received about 8 weeks ago, and it was from Kimley Horn and Associates for a developer. It was for a 2-lane road, and it was for $40,156,000. So that when it goes and that includes design, includes inspections. So that's the real number that's out there. That's the first time anyone's really taken time, looked at the wetlands, looked at the impacts that you got to pay for that, looked at any sort of major crossings. We do have cooperation and again, a partnership that not always, but is very good, is with the Clay Electric Co-op. They've agreed to share their easement that they already have utility poles on. It's already been cleared, already been mitigated for wetlands. That's how that was based on, why a lot of the pricing went down. We don't have to build a $40 million
Good news, because I
bridge.
recall 100 million.
It was like 85 or 90.
It was.
like 94.
Yeah.
It was actually around 100.
It was 100,
TPO
yeah.
brought that forward
Correct.
early last year.
And that one was one that kind of went a little bit, kind of meandered south,
Right.
had a separate crossing of Double Branch Creek, and was going to be, and I don't think they took the time to investigate. This one took the time to investigate the alternates.
So 40 million is the number I should remember.
Yes, sir.
Phew, that's a big change. Thank you.
Thank you.
No one else? All right, so we need to vote on that. Have a motion?
Move approval.
I'll second the motion.
All right, a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed?
Sorry,
Oh.
I was reading something else. I did
Uh,
say aye.
Okay. On the.
Yeah, I
four,
apologize.
okay.
I was not trying to say no. Just
All
a
right.
little delayed voting there.
All right, so unanimous, there we go. Okay. So, what do we do now? What's that? Letters for action, okay. All right, so we're gonna move down to letters for action. We have an acceptance of resignation from the North Florida TPO Citizens Advisory Committee. Chip Dodson submitted his resignation from the committee. And to my understanding, he is moving to be with his grandkids down south, so
Move approval.
we will miss him. All right, and I have a motion.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll move on to acceptance of resignations and appointment to the Clay County Historic Preservation Board. Terry Knight, District 2, and Randy Harris, District 5 members submitted their resignation from the board. I guess we'll go ahead and do that separately. All right, Rita Peterson submitted her application for consideration of appointment. Ms. Peterson is a resident of District 5 and could fill the vacancy left by Mr. Harris.
Move to accept the resignations and to approve Ms. Peterson for District 5 seat.
All right, have a motion
Second motion.
and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and then we have discussion of appointment for the municipal seat for Clay County on the Northeast Florida Regional Council.
I'd like to nominate Brian Ludwig. He is former Board of Adjustments, but then Brandon, what did I say?
Brian.
Okay, Brandon. Ludwig, he's formerly on the our Board of Adjustment, but resigned recently to take a position on the Keystone Heights City Council. And he did an excellent job for us here on the Board of Adjustments. So, and I've spoken with him. He's the type guy we want on the Regional Council. So I'd like to make his nomination.
I'll second the nomination. He'll do a great job.
All right, and so for the public, can you explain what he'll be doing?
Well, he'll be an appointed member of the Board of Regional, on the Board of Regional Council. He'll be voting, he's a voting member, so he'll be voting on all the issues that we have going on, and we have a member of the Regional Council here. If you want to speak to anything, there, sure, come on
Yeah,
up.
we'd love to know more about the regional council, so we actually have time right now.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, this morning, one of the studies we're doing at the Regional Council is the Military Installation Readiness Review, which takes into account all the military installations in the region and any hazard that would impede their ability to be efficient or effective as a military organization, whether it be environmental, God-caused floods, or resource limited with natural gas or electricity, power generation, or something like that. So we just had a meeting this morning with all the major installations. So that's one of the studies. And
Hi, Lee Wilsey, Northeast Florida Regional Council. Yes, as Commissioner Ringer explained, the Regional Council is comprised of elected officials from all of our member counties, our 7 member counties, and gubernatorial employees, appointees. So some of the work we do, while you all are looking at your specific counties and to address issues, we take those counties up to a regional level, and so we help to highlight different projects and different things that are going on that impact the region that you all are doing locally in the counties. We do a breadth of work. We work with the transportation disadvantaged. We do a lot of work in resiliency. We do a lot of work in healthcare preparedness and emergency management. Just a whole breadth of programs that we do work in and have influence across the region.
one of the primary tasks is to work emergency management with all 7 counties. And quite honestly, some of the counties, or smaller counties, don't really have the resources they need to develop all their plans and all that kind of stuff. And so the Regional Council will help them do that. Lee works Healthcare Coalition. I think it's more than the 7 counties. It's
Yes, actually, our program covers 18 counties across North Florida. So, and we're currently in the process of purchasing equipment every year. We dedicate about $200,000 to purchase equipment across the region to improve the capacity and capability of the healthcare system. So Clay County has benefited a great deal. I don't have those numbers with me. I certainly
Well,
can share them with you.
You may recall that the chief spec there may recall getting some stretcher adapters for little people.
Right, pediatric restraints that assist EMS in transporting children on a large stretcher for, for transports and things to safely transport them. We also purchase a lot of equipment for hospitals, long-term care, and things of that nature. And we also do a lot of, whether it's healthcare, but also broader emergency management exercises to help different disciplines and different communities prepare for emergencies and disasters.
More recently, your coalition acquired, I don't know what, chairs to go up and down stairs,
Yes, so
ladder wells in case of outage of power. The elevators are inoperable, but you have to evacuate the hospital so you can.
Right, we purchased both sleds that you can put a person in and pull them down, up and down stairs, and chairs for long-term care facilities. we are currently in this current fiscal year, we're looking at purchasing some of that similar equipment for hospitals. And we also have purchased disaster stretchers. So they're really neat PVC stretchers that hold up to 500 pounds that a hospital can quickly use, move wherever they need to if they have a large surge of patients. And all of our equipment can be used across the region. So if there is something in another area, all this equipment can easily be moved around the region if it's needed, or can come here if it is needed.
Regional Council, I mentioned emergency management, Mr. Devlin, you can talk about exercises that the Regional Council conducts for us and things like that, so.
And actually, Mr. Devon is a past chair of one of our healthcare coalitions that we cover, so.
Good, thank you so much for coming up.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that.
I appreciate Commissioner Reniger choosing or asking to nominate someone from the city of Keystone Heights. That is a seat that rotates, so if you remember back, Commissioner Compere and Scrumolo may not remember that because I don't think you were on. It was like when we first started, it was Town of Orange Park that had the seat. And then it's been the city of Green Cove Springs. And Steve Kennedy has been going, but they really prefer an elected official. And so like the town of McClenny, the town of Baldwin represent both Baker and Duval counties. And so anyway,
Great timing then.
yeah, it kind of,
Yeah.
just rotate, at some point we might get somebody from the town of Penny Farms, I don't know, but that'd be pretty tiny. But the regional council has helped the city of Keystone Heights with some FDEP grants that they have gotten and those kinds of things. So, and then Brandon's kind of unique in that he lives in the city of Keystone Heights and serves on the city council, but he works at Cecil. And so with the military readiness
Review.
he has that, and you may not know that he at one point served in the city of Stark on their planning council. So he's got some experiences. I had talked to Beth Payne about if she would be open to having, because Brandon's pretty young, and she said, I would love it. So he's going to bring down our average age quite drastically. So he's going to bring the, what's the generation? Is it Gen Z? He's going to bring Gen Z into the regional council, so.
New fresh ideas, always good. All right. All right, we have letters, oh, no, we didn't vote, did we?
Not
We didn't
yet,
vote.
not yet.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Thank you, Brandon, for being willing.
Or Brian.
We're excited. Or Brian.
He was trained by Mr. Devlin.
Oh, goodness.
We're on a roll tonight. All right, so we're gonna move on to, we have 5 minutes, what's that? Yeah, we have 6 minutes, okay. So, 2025-2026 Board of County Commissioners Committee assignments. We have those in, and those are good to go. We don't need to vote. Okay? Anybody have anything to say about that, or questions, or anything? Okay? All right, thank you all for also being willing. We have bid opening tabulations for January 9th, 2026, for the Lake Geneva Restoration Project and Clay County Public Safety Physicals. And then the Tourist Development Council meeting minutes for November 5th, 2025, and TDC meeting minutes from November 5th, 2025. All right. We need a potty break? I can. It'll take about 5 minutes.
How about comments, Chair?
We can go into ours.
Mine's
Okay, yeah.
fairly lengthy.
Okay, County Attorney?
Sure. So just a reminder that the next CRC meeting is February the 9th at 5:00 p.m. Also, each of you should have received a summary in connection with the county's economic development grants. So each year we have to respond to a state survey. And so when we were completing it this year, we just thought you'd like to know all the different grants that you have provided in connection with the economic development. And it also includes the mitigation award that you gave IKO. So that should have been in your boxes. And if you have any questions about that or want any backup, just let us know. And then lastly, it's hard to believe, but it's been over 6 years since we've been involved in the opioid litigation. So they sent us a little updated summary just to let us know what has happened over those 6 years. In connection with the defendants, we have reached a settlement with 10 defendants. 11 other defendants we have pending claims against, but they are currently in bankruptcy, so those claims are pending. And then there are finally 2 remaining defendants that we have outstanding claims that could potentially result in some recovery. But if you want any more details about that or have any questions, just let us know. So it's not over yet. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. And County Manager?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, first off, I really want to thank Troy. I want to thank Laura and Heather on the strategic plan. That was a heavy, heavy lift, of which kind of those duties and jobs got distributed out. And I really appreciate that. It all comes together in producing our annual report and to keep track of how we're doing in that litmus test or report card for us. So again, thank you. The now open, our 2025 Veteran and Volunteer and Youth Volunteer of the Year. It was announced yesterday. It went out. Those nominations and the requirements are on our website and on that announcement, that they're due back on the 16th of March. And the committee that is also defined there on our website, and those will be choosing that, and we'll obviously bring it back to the board for final vote. And then those individuals, those 3 individuals, the Veteran, the Volunteer of the Year, and the Youth Volunteer of the Year will be recognized at our Touch a Truck event on the 25th of April. Next thing I have is, listen, the weather is extremely cold. And it's only going to get colder. The lows are in the 30s throughout the week here. They drop to the 20s through this weekend. Please make sure your animals are brought inside. Make sure if you have a problem with your heat or heater, let the community know and try to get some help out there with that. But most importantly, stay warm. Final thing I have is our first budget workshop of the year is on the 5th of February at 1 p.m. It'll be right after the EDC luncheon at the Thrasher Horn that's there. I believe we're ready. We've met individually with each one of you on the simulation. And then we have some things to share with you and some slides, Troy and OMB, that we're working on. And we look forward to kicking that off. We've invited the constitutionals also to that workshop. This will be really kind of the first time that we've done something like that. Just anticipation of what's ahead for us for the removal of property tax, what may be on the ballot that's there. Pending that, that's all I have. Pending any questions.
Very good. Thank you. Anybody have questions? No. Heather? No? You sure? Okay. Anybody have a joke? Ringer, you're on a roll.
I can go. I can take up that many easy.
All right, go ahead.
To follow on the county manager's cold weather process, you know, a lot of people will crack a valve to keep water flow, and it flows right into former Commissioner Conkey's area of expertise, St. John's Water, you know, wasting water. And this February issue of Florida Trend has a great article on water use in Plant City. During, I think it was 2010, they had a big freeze, and they used a lot of water, they normally use 37 million gallons, and that week they used 2.7 billion gallons to water all their strawberries to keep them from freezing. And this will play into Keystone. It drew the aquifer down 60 feet, and 750 wells went dry. So the gist of the article is we'll never run out of water, but we're going to run out of cheap water. Okay, we're going to get, you know, water desalinization and things like that. It's very expensive. So it's a good article to read. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about last Monday. We had an MLK ceremony in Green Cove Springs, very nice ceremony. This last 2 weeks was filled of events. Last Thursday, ribbon cutting for the Orange Park Art Guild Gallery. I had to bring that up. Friday, we took a tour of CCUA, and we looked at all the water plants up here in North Florida, basically, north part of the county. So Monday, I had a brief. I'm looking at Express Scripts. We spend about $250,000 in drug costs every month. And I just, knock on wood, I've been healthy my whole life. I really don't take any medications, but I just can't fathom $250,000 a month on. And so with all the news of fraud, we just had Clay Eye get hit with a fraudulent cost to Medicare. I know there's fraud in our system. It may not be great, but I want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to look for fraud, eliminate fraud and such. And I learned that we have, with Express Scripts, we have an added service. I didn't know this. I had a meeting with Express Scripts Monday, I think it was yesterday. But we have paid for an added service where they take an additional look-see, of all our claims and to make sure that fraud is absolutely at its minimum. So I'm not sure what else we can do, but it is a problem out in the real world. It's I think a small problem here, but I'd prefer it to be no problem at all. We all get out and about tomorrow. Federated Republican Women's Club has Melissa Nelson speaking. So if you're concerned about that, tomorrow, Congressman Bean, we have a celebration for all the military academy selectees out at Cecil. So if anybody would want to attend that. And Thursday and Friday, I won't be here. I'll be in Tallahassee with the Florida Regional Council Association for their winter conference in Tallahassee. So with that, Science Fair. Anybody wants to go to Science Fair? It's next Tuesday, February 3rd at the where is it at? Yeah, Fairgrounds, I think. So, which is always a good thing. It's amazing what these kids can come up with, the young people. It really is. Some real deep science, and then some others are just, which way will the plant grow when the sun's shining here? So anyway, but it's a great event. The last thing I have is property taxes are in the news, as you well know, and Congressman Yoho did an editorial this weekend. It'd be worth your read, as well as there's another editorial on taxes and their impact with emergency management. So that's another thing I hadn't thought about. So anyway, take a look at that. That's all I have.
Good, thank you. All right, we'll move on to our time certains. Public hearing on ordinance and resolution to amend the capital improvement plan and other budget adjustments with Reg. Yep. We will have approval of the following resolutions that provide budget adjustments for departmental needs. I'll let you do that first. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Reg Gaynor, I'm the budget manager. This item makes budget adjustments to the County Road 220 projects and the bonded road projects to meet expense obligations and to change funding streams. It is these changes that necessitate a public hearing. Other changes in the operating budget introduce budget for SAFER grants, FEMA grants for parks repairs, and to improve disaster preparedness. So that's just a quick summary.
Okay. All right, any questions for Reg? So I'll open the public hearing to consider approval of ordinance amending the capital improvement portion of the Clay County Capital Improvement Plan. Anyone?
Very exciting.
All right, we'll close the public hearing. I'll bring it back to the board.
I'll move to approve the ordinance amending the CIE portion of the capital improvement plan.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, then we have a resolution amending the non-capital improvement element portion of the Clay County Capital Improvement Plan.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And then a resolution amending the FY 25-26 budget.
I'll move approval of the resolution amending the FY 25-26 budget.
Second.
Second motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Thank you, Reg.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll move on to public hearing on ordinance amending Article 6 of Chapter 16 of the Clay County Code Mobility Fee, being the codification of Clay County Ordinance Number 2020-39 as amended with Beth Carson.
Good afternoon. We're in the, believed to be the final stages of the mobility fee study. We're doing the final review. We are going to have a final stakeholders meeting with our stakeholders on the 9th. And with that, we would ask that we continue this item from tonight until February 24th so that we can continue our review and come back with the final product.
Okay. All right, do we need to vote on that? Yeah, public hearing first, okay. I'll open the public hearing. And I'll close the public hearing.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to continue. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, Beth. All right, and we are down to commissioner comments. Commissioner Compare?
Does she want to do the second public comment?
I guess I'll do that, sure. All right, anybody for a second public comment? Yeah? Okay. No public comment. All right.
I'll jump in. Sure, yeah. So I've got a couple of items. So last week, some of us from the county were in Tallahassee on various missions, but I wanted to reiterate that we had some conversations with your leading voices in Tallahassee, and pending these upcoming budget workshops that we're having, I wish that there was some indication as to what's going to unfold in Tallahassee. And as late as last week, we're being told that there's a lot of there's still a lot of pieces moving. I wish that were different, but that's where we are. So I was there Tuesday and Wednesday. We got to chat with some folks who are hopeful. I mean, at this point, I'm hearing that there are 5 different variations coming out of the House, and hopefully one of those will be on the ballot, not 5 different initiatives on the ballot. We'll see how that plays out. Of course, we know that there's no companion legislation coming out of the Senate just yet. Maybe they take it up, maybe they don't. We're not too sure. And of course, you've got the governor who has a role to play in this, should he choose to. And so, again, tonight we've already discussed that our first budget workshop is coming up. And at this point, a lot of it is speculation. So we're having to play guess and check until there is some clear direction coming out of Tallahassee. And so I position that for those who are still following along like we have to. The second thing, Commissioner Reniger and I were on that tour for CCUA. It's amazing the level of technology required to regulate our water here in Clay County and the surrounding systems. And hats off to Jeremy and his team. They are brilliant minds, and I knew that before, but we got to see it on display, and I wouldn't even know how to describe that. The county manager was there also, just these cockpit-style rooms with TV screens on every wall and
Data infusion is what it was.
Yeah,
And
it's
alarms.
Yeah, it was really neat. Had a great time. There was a bus full of us who got to tour different facilities, and that was neat. So again, hats off to CCUA and all of the effort that they put into keeping our water regulated. The third thing, I think Commissioner Reniger has already set out,
Welcome to my backyard tomorrow night. If you are available, Congressman Bean and his military, I think it's the students, right, that are, so come out, would love to see you. It'll be a good time. And then next week, on the 29th at 6 p.m., the Oakleaf community is having its second library workshop for those who want to, I think, Mary, we're talking design this time, or furniture layout, that sort of thing. The first one was, hey, community, what would you like to see? And we had a lot of folks show up and share what they would like to see in the library, what needs could be met. The renderings that we've seen, I had a brief with Mary last week and with Craig, and just voids that have been in the Oakleaf community for quite a while. And I love that we're rectifying that, moving in that direction. And so if you have an opinion, would love to see you. Again, it's on the 29th, next week, 6 p.m., and it's going to be, oh, that's this week. Okay, that's Thursday. Yes. Oh my goodness, my days, my days. But thank you, Troy. I appreciate that. So that's this Thursday at 6 p.m. and it's at the Phase 2 Athletic Center. There was some confusion last time. Winding stairs, guys. You know where the winding stairs are, not the single building in Phase 1. So please feel free to come out. Would love to hear your feedback. And that's all I've got tonight. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So I also was in Tallahassee with Commissioner Compere. Lots of stuff, lots of government, lots of bills in Tallahassee regulating local government. So it's interesting. The voters of Florida put home rule, the protection of home rule, which means the government is the best, closest to the people, and Tallahassee doesn't like that. And so I guess there's been some accusations that other governments, not Clay, they always start with that way, right? So not Clay, but other local commissions and things like that have not done what they should do in the eyes of the legislature, and so therefore these things need to be changed. But those things will affect your life and your quality of life. So I would encourage, if you are able to, Laura has put out onto all of our social media platforms as well as a press release about our budget workshop coming up on February 5th. If you can attend in person, you're welcome to at the Thrasher Horn, but she says it will be on YouTube and our other platforms. And so I encourage you to watch it, because it looks like, and I hear constituents say frequently, Clay County has so much money, you're flush with money. Most of that money that comes in, that you pay in your property taxes and then we collect from other sources, already has a name on it, and we can't change that name.
And what I mean by that is it is restricted. It goes to certain things right off the bat. And so there's very little money that has any discretion that we actually get to choose up here on this dais. And so, and the most interesting thing, just, you know, Troy, I'll steal Troy's thunder a little bit for next week, but it's public record that the House Bill 203 that is moving to the full House, so most likely it moved through Ways and Means last Thursday. It's going to go to the full House for a vote. We'll see if the Senate takes it up. But it's the one that says full elimination of non-school property taxes for homestead exempted properties in 10 years. So it sounds like we would have 10 years, except that then you get into the meat of the bill. And for Clay County, because we have a majority of our homes are homesteaded and the majority of our homes are not high value compared to South Florida and some other places along the coast, we would see the biggest impacts in year 1 and 2, to the extent of most of our county services could not exist. So it's kind of scary. And so I would encourage you to watch that budget workshop, and then once you have information, you can reach out to legislators. It's not too late. Nothing has passed in especially on the Senate side. Senator Bradley works closely. She and I talk frequently, and she works closely with us. So she's aware that we would need to be cognizant of this, but We have about, so, you know, we end up having about 65 to $70 million of discretionary money that this board can move around after we've funded the constitutionals, and I point to Tara, but it's more than just her, but the constitutionals and the other things that we're required to fund. And in year one, that property tax exemption would cut about 34 million. And that number came from Tracy Drake. So at any rate, it's kind of disheartening and disappointing, and I don't think that our citizens want that. They want relief and they want affordability. And so anyway, it's a very complex and very complicated thing. Also working on some really bad development legislation that's been proposed. So hopefully we're going to make movement to not have that pass. Basically, it would eliminate your voice as the public, and we don't want to see that. And it would also allow for high-density residential and commercial development in ag-zoned property with no oversight, pretty much at all. They would come to our staff, Beth and her team, Sharice and that team, they would come to them for a 10-day review. But basically, you know, they could put buffers, they could do those kinds of things, but they can't stop it. And it's interesting, it's called the Blue Ribbon Bill, and I have my tagline is there's no prize pig in the Blue Ribbon Bill, because what it says is, so they're saying it says 60% of the property has to be in reserve. Well, reserve is not conservation. So they'll count things like, you know, the median going down the middle of the road as grass, and the utility easements and things like that. And it specifically allows in the bill for 80% of the land in the commercial section to be paved over. So can you imagine what a farmer looks at? I mean, it's not proposed because it's land of more than 10,000 acres, but directly across the street from my house, or across the road from my house, I live on a road, not a street, but directly across from me is a huge farm. And I was standing outside with my husband on the front porch, and I said, can you imagine if they put an apartment complex right there? Because that's what this kind of thing could allow. So it's really kind of scary. So at any rate, following those as well as some of the other ones to pay attention to. So lots going on. I agree with Commissioner Compere. Educate yourself. You know, it's easy to scroll Facebook and make comments about things that you think are important at the local level, and they are, but the things going on in Tallahassee are as well.
All right, so a week or two ago, I got to attend a Clay Chamber event, Bridge to Bridge with Melissa Nelson, and she's just doing a fantastic job as the state attorney, and it was really awesome to see her relationship with the sheriff's office. You know, she gave a great example as to how law enforcement, you know, uses probable cause to then turn over cases to the state attorney's office, and ultimately it's her office's job to carry out the law and make sure that the law is being carried out fairly, which I think was very important for her to say. And someone made a comment in the meeting, or at the end of the chamber event, and they said you haven't heard much about the state attorney's office lately, and she just made a statement along the lines of that. Her job is to do her job and not play politics and really keep things fair. And it got a standing ovation. It was really, really neat. She's doing a great job. Then we had the State of the County event at the Thrasher Horn. And Madam Chair, you crushed it. You knocked it out of the park. You represented us very well. And it's always great to get the updates from the municipalities and see how it all kind of ties in together as we all move forward. Friday, January 16th, hats off to Teddy and the tourism team and Alan Verlander with Airstream Ventures. We hosted the Cornhole Championships, and just some stats. There were 267 players from 17 states that came to Clay County, and they paid out $23,000, the company did, in winnings, the digital exposure. So part of the organization, the Cornhole group that runs it, they have live streaming. So there was over 125,000 views of the main court, which is really cool. So it was a multi-day event. They sold out both hotel room blocks. So it was a good addition for our tourism and market, and we're going to hope to continue that going with that group. And thank you to them again for coming. So the mission was accomplished in accordance with the evolution objective of the BAGS simulation, to use Howard's language. Our budget and government simulation, I think all the commissioners have participated in, but thanks to Troy and Reg, MJ, Heather, and Laura for their help and hard work. As we go into budget season, it was a very, very useful exercise, as Commissioner Condon said, to really see in tangible form the budget in front of you of what we can and can't move, which was really great. Yesterday, I was invited to Orange Park Elementary to read to Miss Smith's kindergarten class for Literacy Week, which was a great time. And then today at St. John's Country Day, I got to read to Miss Timke's third grade class. This is Literacy Week, so read to your kids every night. It's very important. The last thing I want to say is through what both Commissioner Compere and Commissioner Condon said, I just want to say thank you to our engaged public residents. You know, I was telling my wife the other day that we live in such a technological, fast-paced, short news cycle society that when people have a vehicle, they have a cell phone, they have a place to live, and they have food on the table, it's very easy for them to not get involved in what's going on, right? So while sometimes, listen, our job as elected officials, we have to answer tough questions. That's why we got into this from the public. But I also have in the past year have gained a great appreciation for people who stay in tune and come to meetings and ask questions, because like these bills that you've brought up, if there is no one doing those checks and balances, I would use the word that there will be catastrophic consequences. And we don't want to be left saying, well, who approved this? Who voted for this, right? So, but thank you to the public for staying engaged. We as a commission are staying engaged. And the more conversations we have, the better off we're going to be, you know, at the end of it. So that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice. I don't like following you.
Sorry.
All right. So for my district, wanted to make everybody continue to be aware of traffic shifts, especially Russell Road around the roundabout. We have areas that are going to be closing off for the new swoosh to open up. And so it's, you know, it's very scary sometimes, you know, like, so because if people are going fast, you just don't have enough time to prepare. So remember, stay with the speed limit is very important right now, to watch out for everyone and especially the workers. I wanted to comment again about the Martin Luther King ceremony at Bear Hall Francis. They just did a wonderful job this year. I've been involved for a few years with it. And they had the kids come from Hickory Grove and sing. It was just so cute. And then a young school student came down from, I think, Warner Robins, and he gave this speech. I mean, it was amazing. And wow, I just was like, you know, it just really, you know, gives you hope to see students that, you know, really just that care and it was mom and his grandmother were there, and you could just see they were just so proud of what they had done and the things they had fed into this boy. And you know, I'm sure the community always definitely takes a village to raise our kids. So that was just amazing. And State of the County, I had a blast. That was a lot of fun. And I guess this was the first year, maybe in a while, that the sheriff and the superintendent of schools were both speakers. So that was pretty neat. It's really great to hear everybody. I really had a good time. I felt like it was very interesting. Everybody, you know, stayed focused, even especially after I told them they needed to stop looking down at their phones because it's bad for their neck, you know. So they love that, you know. Let's see. I'm actually looking forward to our budget workshop, talking about the simulation. I thought that was I really enjoyed it. And you know, the budget is something, you know, we don't, you know, in our normal daily lives, we don't deal with such a huge budget and all the different pockets it goes to. And so it was really good to see it. And I feel like I'm really excited that we're going to use that at the workshop for the public to be able to understand it better. Because just like Commissioner Condon, that is one of the biggest things I've heard my whole time as a commissioner, that we have so much money. So why are we having such issues? And, you know, why can't we have this? And, you know, but because people just don't understand. And I think people do want to understand. And so this will actually help quite a bit. I'm so excited about that. I had my first day today on the Clay Behavioral Board. got to meet everybody there, and it was really interesting. A lot of them, there was like 4 or 5 of them that had been on the board over 25 years. I was really surprised. But I told Irene that must mean people like her and they're able to, hang around her that long. So that was good to see. But some of the things that they deal with was, interesting to hear. And they serve so many people in our community, so kids, all ages. And let's see, and of course they're very excited about our substance abuse disorder building and about the progress on that. So let's see, I think that is all I have. And anyone else have anything that we missed? Yes.
Just, Senate President was in the hospital yesterday. Has anybody heard whether he got out? Okay, anyway, might be worth a prayer. He had some kind of embolism on blood clot on his lung. So anyway.
Wow. Okay.
He's hospitalized.
And I think definitely prayers for the sheriff's deputies that were involved in that horrible incident. So, all right. If there's nothing else for the good of the order, I will dismiss.